Oh. Hey, 2:02 in the morning, window full of neon rain. Phone face down beside me, but your name still knows my brain. I keep telling myself this feeling's gonna pass, but every quiet second keeps dragging up the past. The room is cold, but my thoughts run high. I know exactly where this road will stop. 1,000 conversations in my head tonight, and every one of them ends with your reply. I told my friends I'm doing fine, said your memory don't cross my mind, but here I am staring at the ceiling fan, trying not to become who I was again. Every second feels longer, every heartbeat gets louder, every reason I had to let go feels weaker somehow. So give me one more minute before I break my own rule. One more minute before I act like a fool. One more minute to remember why we fell apart. One more minute to keep my hands away from my heart. Cause once I text you, I know where this goes. Back to the same old wounds, back to the same old goals. Give me one more minute, one more minute tonight. Streetlights paint shadow across my floor, like memories slipping under the door. I close my eyes, but you're still there, living rent-free inside the air. I open our photos and swear I'll close them soon, but nostalgia's a dangerous drug when loneliness fills the room. And every promise I made starts slipping through my fingers. The silence feels heavier now, and your absence lingers. So give me one more minute before I break my own rule. One more minute before I act like a fool. One more minute to remember why we let it die. One more minute before I believe another lie. Cause once I text you, I know where this goes. Back to unfinished stories, back to familiar roads. Give me one more minute, one more minute tonight. Maybe you're sleeping peacefully, maybe you're missing me too. Maybe we're both losing this fight under a different moon. Maybe the small thing is putting his phone away, but smart decisions get harder at 2 in the morning. Give me one more minute before I give my heart away. One more minute before temptation gets sway. One more minute to choose myself instead. One more minute before I send those words unsaid. Cause healing isn't pretty, and moving on moves slow. But tonight I'm learning some messages don't need to go. Give me one more minute, one more minute tonight. Screen lights up, I look away. 3:01, and I didn't text today. I told myself I was just checking the time, but somehow I'm back here again. Thumb scrolling through a graveyard, the words we used to mean. Every bubble on a screen feels more alive than me. Your good mornings hit different now, knowing they don't come anymore. Funny how a few old messages can reopen every door. I found the night you said forever, like forever had a lease. And I keep rereading promises that never found their peace. I should delete these memories, I should finally let them go. But tonight they feel like photographs of a life I used to know. I'm reading all the messages, like somehow they'll change tonight. Like hidden between the lines, there's a reason we didn't survive. Every I miss you, every heart emoji, every dream we used to chase. I'm reading our messages, trying to find my place, but all I find is yesterday. I reached October in the thread, the month we couldn't stop laughing. Back when forever felt close enough to almost us. Now every joke feels heavier, every nickname cuts deeper, and every screenshot in my gallery feels impossible to leave here. Funny how a conversation can become a museum, and I'm walking through the exhibits like I still belong in them. Maybe that's what heartbreak is, 1,000 tiny echoes living inside digital walls, long after love lets go. I'm reading our messages, close mouth, they'll change tonight. Like maybe I missed something that could make everything right. Every late night confession, every promise in blue, every version of myself that only existed with you. Trying not to miss you, but missing you is all they do. There was no warning, no dramatic goodbye, just less replies and shorter replies and silence. And somehow that hurt more, because nothing officially ended, yet everything did. Strings swell, if I'm reading our messages while the city sleeps outside, trying to make peace with a love that couldn't survive. Every picture we painted, every plan we designed, still floating through this thread like ghosts frozen in time. I'm reading our messages one last time tonight, not to bring you back, not to reopen scars, not to pretend, but to finally say goodbye. The screen goes dark, the memories stay, but for the first time I don't scroll back. Ooh, yeah. Your chat is open, my heart is louder than the room. Phone notification sound echoes faintly, cursor blinking like a warning light on a road I swore I'd never drive again. I type your name, then erase it twice, like somehow that changes what I'm feeling. The city outside is sleeping, but my thoughts are pulling double shifts, trying to find a perfect sentence to fix something words couldn't fix. I start with hey, then delete it. Too small for everything I mean. I start with I miss you, then delete it. Too honest for a wound not fully healed. Every letter feels dangerous, every word feels loaded, and every version of this message ends with me feeling broken. Typing, deleting, typing, deleting, fighting conversations that only happen in my head. Typing, deleting, trying not to send the part of me that still wants you back again. Cause every sentence leads me closer to a door that shouldn't open. So I'm typing, deleting, while the night keeps going. I write 3 paragraphs about everything that's changed, how I've been pretending that I'm stronger than I am. I tell you about the mornings that still start with your memory, and the songs I skip because they know too much. Then I stop and stare at the blinking cursor, waiting for courage or closure, whichever arrives first. Maybe silence is an answer, maybe distance has a purpose. Maybe some hearts heal better when they stop reopening. Typing, 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 building little bridges just to watch them dip. Typing, drowning in what ifs, trying not to resurrect a love that isn't here. Every sentence feels familiar, every goodbye feels unfinished. So I'm typing, trying to stay different. What if you answered? What if you didn't? What if you moved on months ago? What if you're happier now? What if this message only reminds you of something you already forgot? Long pause. What if healing looks exactly like this? Not sending it. Watching temptation dance across my screen tonight. Typing, choosing not to fall, even when every lonely feeling tells me that I might. Cause some messages are really just a wounds looking for attention. And tonight I'm finally learning, not every feeling needs a destination. So I'm typing, deleting it, and letting go instead. The cursor still blinks, the message stays unsent. 3:04 a.m. and for once, that's enough. 3:10 a.m. Your status says last seen at 1:37 a.m. And somehow that's all my mind needs. One little timestamp, now it's living rent-free in my head. I should be sleeping, instead I'm building stories of us. Were you talking to somebody? Were you scrolling just like me? Were you staring at your ceiling, trying not to think about us? I know it's unhealthy, I know it means nothing, but heartbreak turns detective out of ordinary people. Now every possibility feels more real than reality in my imagination. imagination. Won't leave me alone. Last seen at 1:57 a.m. Why am I wondering where you've been? Last seen at 1:57 a.m. Why do I still care? Were you missing me? Were you moving on? Were you laughing with somebody else while I was holding on? Last seen at 1:57 a.m. And somehow I'm still here. I refresh the screen again, like it's gonna tell me something new. But all it gives me is another version of uncertainty. Funny how love ends, yet curiosity survives, like some stubborn little flame that refuses to lose oxygen. You probably don't even know I'm staring at this timestamp, giving it meanings it never asked for. Maybe closure begins when you stop searching for hidden messages in ordinary things. Last seen 1:57 a.m. Still haunting me tonight. 1:57 turning simple information into emotional crime scene. Last seen 1:57 a.m. And maybe that's the problem. I've been treating every breadcrumb like it leads back to us when maybe it doesn't. Maybe your life has nothing to do with me anymore. Maybe your late nights belong to different conversations, different dreams, different people. And maybe the reason this hurts is because deep down I already know that strings swell. Turning numbers into heartbreak. Tired of giving silence. Voice it never had. Last seen at 1:57 a.m. Maybe that's your story now, but mine starts moving forward. I close the app, lock the phone for the first time tonight. Stop checking. The room is dark. Only one thing is still awake. My phone. Blue light painting shadows on my face, like it's trying to expose every secret. The whole world's asleep, but my mind's still running laps around memories I should've left behind. The battery's at 12%, my judgment's even lower, and every swipe brings me closer to becoming someone I promised I'd outgrow. I know this road too well. Starts with curiosity, ends with regret, and somehow I still take it. Maybe loneliness looks harmless from a distance, but up close it wears your face. Blue light and bad decisions, that's all this night has been in. One click from your profile, one thought away from giving in. Blue light and bad decisions, filling up this empty room, trying not to chase a memory that disappeared too soon. Cause every picture tells a story my heart still wants to hear. Blue light and bad decisions, keeping you too near. Your newest photo appears, and suddenly healing feels fictional. You look happy, look kinda happy, searching for clues that maybe you still miss me. But all I find is someone moving forward while I'm stuck refreshing yesterday. The truth hurts differently at 3 in the morning, because there's nowhere to hide from yourself. Blue light and bad decisions pulling me under again, turning tiny thoughts into oceans in my head. Blue light and bad decisions, making old wounds feel brand new, trying to make peace with the world that doesn't include you. Cause every glance becomes obsession when silence fills the air. Blue light and bad decisions finding me everywhere. Maybe closure isn't something someone gives you. Maybe it's something you decide. Maybe healing starts the moment you stop checking who chose not to stay. Strings rise higher, and maybe tonight I finally understand that. Finally understand that. No light and bad decisions used to own my nights, but something's changing under these city lights. Blue light and bad decisions don't feel as powerful now. I'm tired of chasing ghosts and forgetting who I am. Cause every second spent looking back steals one from moving on. Blue light and bad decisions. Tonight I'm turning them off. Phone lock sound, the screen goes black. The room stays quiet for the first time all night. So does my heart. Your number is still memorized. I don't even need to look. That's the dangerous part. My thumb keeps hovering over 7 familiar digits, like muscle memory remembers what my heart can't forget. The silence in this room feels louder than the traffic outside, and every lonely second pushes me closer to the edge. I know I shouldn't do it. I know exactly why we broke, but loneliness has a way of rewriting old stories, making red flags look beautiful, making goodbye sound temporary. And suddenly I'm wondering, would you answer? Would you recognize my voice? Would it feel like yesterday? Or would it feel like strangers if I call right now? Would you pick up? Would you hear the hurt I'm trying so hard to hide? If I call right now, would it change anything? Or would I just reopen wounds that barely stop bleeding? Cause part of me still believes love can find its way back home, and part of me knows some roads are meant to stay closed. If I call right now, who am I really? beside you, every possibility feels like a different kind of heartbreak. So I keep rehearsing conversations that never leave my mind, practicing apologies for mistakes we both already survived. Maybe I'm not missing you, maybe I'm missing the version of myself that existed when you were here. If I call right now, would your voice still shake me? Would old emotions come flooding through the speaker? If I call right now, will we pretend we're okay? Will we dance around the truth like we always used to? 'Cause memories are beautiful when they're far enough away, but reality remembers everything nostalgia forgets. If I call right now, would I regret it tomorrow? The hardest thing about moving on isn't losing someone, it's accepting not every unanswered question needs an answer. Not every goodbye needs another conversation, and not every lonely night needs their voice on pause. Maybe mine is enough. If I call right now, yesterday I'd only be reaching for something already gone. If I call right now, I'd be choosing pain. I recognize over here yet, and maybe that's why the strongest thing I've done tonight is nothing at all. No call, no text, no looking back. If I call right now, I lose the progress I fought for. So tonight I won't. Your number stays untouched, the phone stays silent. The phone stays silent. 3, 4 to 1 a.m. And somehow it feels like victory. 4:07 a.m. The message is finished. Every word, every feeling, every truth I never said, and still it sits there unsaid. Spend an hour choosing sentences, trying to make heartbreak sound mature, trying to fit 1,000 emotions inside a tiny text box. I rewrote every line, like better wording might change history, like the right combination of letters could somehow undo goodbye. Now the cursor sits quietly at the end of the paragraph, waiting, just like me. Yeah, one tap could send it, one tap could change everything, or maybe change nothing at all. The message stays drafted like a photograph frozen in time. Every word still breathing, but never leaving my mind. The message stays drafted somewhere between hope and regret, caught between what I feel and what I should forget. 'Cause not every emotion needs an audience, and not every goodbye needs one more sentence. The message stays drafted. still sounds like your name. Then I realized the message wasn't really for you, it was for me. Maybe some words heal better when they're written instead of delivered. A message stays drafted, holding everything I couldn't say. A conversation that finally happened without needing your reply. The message stays drafted, and somehow that feels right, because closure isn't always found in another person's hands. Sometimes it's written quietly in the dark by yourself, by yourself. I thought healing meant hearing from you, one last explanation, one last apology, one last chance. But maybe healing is different. Maybe healing is realizing that my peace can't depend on your response. Strings rise higher, and maybe that's freedom. For when I don't feel weak, I feel stronger than every urge that brought me here. The message stays drafted, not because I don't care, but because I finally understand. Some stories end without another chapter, some feelings fade without permission, and some goodbye remain unsent. The message stays drafted, and tonight, so do you? I save the draft, lock the screen, and let the silence keep it. Oh, yeah. The sky is getting lighter, but my mind is still somewhere between hope and reality. Yeah. There's a coffee cup beside the bed, gone cold hours ago. Just like all the conversations I keep replaying alone. And somewhere in this half-awake state, my heart starts telling stories again. The dangerous kind, the kind that sound beautiful because they're impossible to prove. Maybe you're staring at the ceiling too. Maybe sleep won't come for you either. Maybe your heart still takes detours whenever somebody says my name. I know I shouldn't wonder, I know I shouldn't guess, but loneliness loves writing fiction when the facts are missing. Maybe they're thinking too, maybe they're missing me tonight. Maybe they're fighting memories under the same moonlight. Maybe they're reaching for their phone, stopping just like I do. Maybe they're thinking too. Maybe they're thinking too. Oh, maybe they're thinking too. Maybe somewhere in the silence, there's a piece of me with you. I imagine your apartment, bathed in the same blue dawn. Maybe there's a song playing softly that reminds you of what we were. Maybe you smiled at an old photo, maybe you almost called. Maybe you're learning that moving on isn't linear at all. But then reality whispers that I don't know any of this, and assumptions have a habit of dressing themselves as hope. The hardest part of missing someone is how little truth you actually have, and how much space your imagination gets. Oh, maybe they're thinking too. Maybe they're replaying everything. Maybe they're carrying pieces of what we couldn't save. Maybe they're I'm okay with both. Maybe they're smiling somewhere, maybe they found their peace. Maybe my peace doesn't need their permission. Maybe they're thinking too, but that's no longer my burden to carry. 'Cause dawn is breaking and so am I into someone stronger. The sun starts rising, the questions stay behind, and for the first time tonight, I let them. 4:51 a.m. I turn my phone to do not disturb. Too bad there's no setting for memories. The room is finally quiet, no notifications breaking through, no vibrations on the nightstand, no distractions from the truth. But somehow your voice still finds me through cracks inside my mind, like echoes bouncing off walls I thought I left behind. The screen stays dark beside me, the silence should feel kind. Instead it pulls old photographs from places I can't hide. I muted the world but forgot about my heart. Now it's speaking louder than anything before. Do not disturb, that's what the phone says. But these memories never listen, they keep showing up uninvited. Do not disturb, that's what I need. A little peace, a little distance, a little room to breathe. 'Cause every time I almost heal, something pulls me back again. Do not disturb, except the thoughts I can't defend. The city sleeps beneath my window, streetlights fading into dawn, and here I am still fighting battles you don't even know what's going on. I wonder if you move completely on, or if some nights still carry my name. Then I stop myself, because that question always ends the same. Witness, stare into darkness, looking for answers in the air, when the only thing that's really there is acceptance, waiting patiently. Maybe peace begins when curiosity ends. Maybe healing starts when I stop checking. Do not disturb, that's what my soul needs now. Not another late night spiral, not another imaginary conversation. Do not disturb, let the wounds rest, let the memories settle, let the heart catch its breath. 'Cause every step forward matters, even when it's small. Do not disturb. I'm learning not to fall. I spend months chasing closure, looking for one final The phone stays silent, the room stays still, and for the first time in a long time, that feels beautiful.
4:22 a.m. Funny how I forgot old addresses, forgot passwords, forgot birthdays, but somehow I still remember your number.
It's buried somewhere in my memory, like a song I never stopped singing. 7 digits tied to 1,000 moments. I wish I could stop revisiting. I don't dial it anymore, don't even search your name. But every time someone asks for a number, yours flashes through my brain. Funny how a sequence of numbers can feel more familiar than a place, like my heart still knows a route, even when my mind has left the space. Some people become memories, some become lessons, and some become habits that you never completely break. Your number still feels like home, even though I don't live there anymore. Your number still feels like home, like a key that doesn't fit the door. I know the lights are different now, I know somebody else may call, but part of me still hears safety whenever those digits cross my thoughts. Your number still feels like home, and that's the hardest part of all. When good news couldn't wait till morning, when bad days needed your voice to make the world feel smaller. Back then the distance disappeared, the second you said hello. Now the silence answers first, and somehow that's all I know. The phone remembers everything, old voicemails, old timestamps, little digital fingerprints left behind by what we had. Maybe that's why moving on feels less like leaving and more like learning a new way to exist. Maybe that's that. Oh no, your number still feels like home, even after all this time. Your number still feels like home, even though it isn't mine. The comfort never fully vanished, the connection never truly died. It just became another room I visit in my mind. Your number still feels like home, but I can't move back inside. Maybe home was never the number, maybe home was a feeling of being understood without explaining yourself. Maybe that's what I miss, not the calls, not the text, but the certainty that someone was there. Strings swell dramatically, and maybe I can find that again somewhere else someday. Find a way. I still feel right. The homes can change, people can leave, and hearts can heal. Yet tonight I finally see, some houses become memories, some roads stop being roads, and some doors stay closed. Stop being closed, not because they're locked, but because you've outgrown them. Your number still feels like home, but I'm learning how to build a new one. Yeah.
I still remember every digit, but I don't need them anymore. Rain fades into silence, 4:38 a.m. And the night keeps moving. So will I.
Oh. 5:21 a.m. The message was written. The cursor stopped blinking. My thumb hovered over send, and time stood still. I stared at that blue button like it held the answer to everything. One tap away from relief, one tap away from regret. The room felt smaller somehow, like the walls were listening, waiting to see which version of me would win this fight. The lonely one or the healing one, the one that misses you, or the one learning to live without you. My heart said do it, my scar said don't. And somewhere between the two I froze. I almost pressed it, almost let the silence break, almost handed my healing back to someone who walked away. I almost pressed it, almost chased yesterday again, almost turned one lonely morning into another chapter that never ends. But almost isn't always failure. Sometimes it's strength in disguise. I almost press it, and that's why I'm still alright. I imagine your phone lighting up, my name appearing out of nowhere. I imagine confusion, curiosity, maybe even indifference. And suddenly I realized I was giving you power over a piece I've spent months trying to build. Why should one response or lack of one decide how I feel about myself? The truth arrived quietly, not as heartbreak, but as clarity. Yeah. I almost pressed it, almost reopened every wound, almost traded progress for a temporary feeling. I almost pressed it, almost forgot how far I've come, almost convincing myself that closure lived inside your hands. But healing isn't found in replies, it's found in what survives without them. I almost pressed it and chose myself instead. Ooh, maybe growth doesn't look dramatic, maybe it isn't loud, maybe it isn't some perfect moment where you suddenly stop caring. Maybe growth is simply this, standing at the edge, looking down and deciding not to jump. Strings swell powerfully, maybe that's enough. Fine, almost press it. I almost pressed it, but almost became never, and never became friends. bravest thing you can do for your heart is leave the message unsent. The drive still exists, the feeling still exists, but neither controls me anymore. 5:34 a.m. The night is over, and so is the urge. The messages are gone, the photos are gone, the calls are gone. So why does it still feel like you're here? Every app holds a shadow, every folder hides a ghost. Little pieces of a life I thought I left behind long ago. I deleted your pictures, but my fingers still remember where they were. I erased the conversations, but my heart can still quote every word. Sometimes my phone lights up, and for half a second before reality arrives, I think it's you. Funny how absence lingers in places that look empty. There are ghosts inside my phone, living in the spaces you left behind. Ghosts inside my phone, haunting every quiet night. Every ringtone sounds familiar, every vibration steals my breath. There are ghosts inside my phone, and I haven't escaped them yet. The algorithm still remembers, showing me memories from years ago. Like technology forgot what I spent months trying to learn how to let go. A random song appears, a photo suggestion surface, a name I haven't searched in forever. Suddenly standing in front of me, like the universe enjoys bad timing, or maybe healing just isn't linear. Because even after goodbye, some echoes stay longer than expected. Yeah, ghosts inside my phone, hiding behind ordinary things. Oh, ghosts inside my phone, turning silence into memories. Every notification carries hope before disappointment arrives. There are ghosts inside my phone, still walking through my mind. Oh, still walking through my mind, still walking through my mind. Oh, still walking through my mind. Maybe they're not really ghosts, maybe they're reminders of who I used to be when you were part of my world. Maybe the reason they hurt isn't because you're gone, but because that version of me is gone too. And maybe that's okay. There are ghosts inside my phone, just inside my phone, quieter now. Yeah, ghosts inside my phone, oh, losing their power some. about becoming someone new. With morning light, and one by one the ghosts disappear. I was doing so well, at least that's what I told myself. 3 whole weeks without checking your page, without rereading old conversations, without wondering who you're with. Then tonight arrived carrying your memory like a storm cloud over a clear sky. And suddenly all my progress started feeling fragile. Healing isn't a straight line, it's sepals, it's learning the same lesson in different ways. Midnight relapse, back inside your shadow again. Midnight relapse, fighting thoughts I thought had ended. I swore I was moving forward, I swore I was letting go. But one lonely night can make old feelings feel brand new. Midnight relapse, and I hate how much I miss you. A song came on unexpectedly, the one we used to drive to, windows down, summer air, believing nothing could touch us. And now every lyric feels heavier, every memory sharper, every silence louder than it did before. Funny how healing works, you can spend months building peace, then one small trigger makes everything shake. But maybe falling backward doesn't erase how far you've come. Midnight relapse, back in familiar territory. Oh, midnight relapse, lost inside unfinished stories. The memories line up perfectly, like they were waiting for their turn. And suddenly I'm missing things I spent months trying to unlearn. Midnight relapse, trying not to call your name. Midnight relapse, trying not to call your name. Midnight relapse, trying not to call your name. Oh. Disappear beyond exposed, emotional strings rise slowly. Maybe recovery isn't perfection, maybe strength isn't never breaking. Maybe strength is knowing how to put yourself back together after you do. Because the truth is, I survived every bad night before this one, and I'll survive this one too. Midnight relapse, but this isn't where the story ends. The night tried to pull me backward, but the morning is already coming, and I've learned how to walk toward it. Funny how entire relationships can end and still be haunted by 4 words. 4 words, yeah. One message, one moment I can't take back. I wasn't trying to start a war, I was trying to say what was left. But pain has a language of its own, and that night it spoke for me. We were standing on the edge, both pretending not to see it. The cracks had been there for months, but neither of us wanted to name them. Yeah. Then I typed those 4 words with shaking hands and tired eyes, not knowing they become the last thing you remember. Some mistakes happen loudly, others arrive quietly and echo for years. 4 words I can't unsend, still living in my head. 4 words I can't unsend, long after everything else ended. I replay the moment endlessly, trying to rewrite history, but the truth remains the truth, and time won't let me edit it. 4 words I can't unsend, following me into every sleepless night. Maybe they weren't the reason, maybe we were ready to part. Maybe the ending started long before the message left my screen. But heartbreak loves a sign and blame, and somehow my mind chose those words as a villain of the story. Even when reality is more complicated, I've memorized every detail, the timestamp, the silence afterward, the feeling in my chest when I realized what I'd done. If regret could travel backward, I'd have visited that night 1,000 times. 4 words I can't unsend, frozen somewhere in the past. 4 words I can't unsend, attached to memories that didn't last. Every apology arrives too late, every explanation loses weight when the damage is already done and the distance has already won. 4 words I can't unsend, still teaching me what words can do about it. It's fade away, piano exposed, cinematic strings slowly rise. Maybe forgiveness isn't forgetting, maybe it's accepting that you were human in a moment of hurt. Maybe growth means understanding that the version of you who sent that message was doing the best they could with the pain they carried. Maybe it's time to forgive them, and maybe it's time to forgive them all. 4 words I can't unsend, 4 words I can't unsend, yeah. 4 words I can't unsend, yeah, they don't define the whole story. We were more than one bad Baby,
The message still exists.
somewhere in the past, but I don't live there anymore. Yeah, 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 Funny how entire relationships can end and still be haunted by 4 words. 4 words, one message, one moment I can't take back. I wasn't trying to start a war, I was trying to say what was left. But pain has a language of its own, and that night it spoke for me. We were standing on the edge, both pretending not to see it. The cracks had been there for months, but neither of us wanted to name them. Then I typed those 4 words with shaking hands and tired eyes, not knowing they become the last thing you remember. Some mistakes happen loudly, others arrive quietly and echo for years. 4 words I can't unsend, still living in my head. 4 words I can't unsend, long after everything else ended. I replay the moment endlessly, trying to rewrite history, but the truth remains the truth, and time won't let me edit it. 4 words I can't unsend, following me into every sleepless night. Maybe they weren't the reason, maybe we were ready to part. Maybe the ending started long before the message left my screen. But heartbreak loves a sign and blame, and somehow my mind chose those words as a villain of a story. Even when reality is more complicated, I've memorized every detail, the timestamp, the silence afterward, the feeling in my chest when I realized what I'd done. If regret could travel backward, I'd have visited that night 1,000 times. 4 words I can't unsend, frozen somewhere in the past. 4 words I can't unsend, attached to memories that didn't last. Every apology arrives too late, every explanation loses weight when the damage is already done and the distance has already won. 4 words I can't unsend, still teaching me what words can do. About it, fade away, piano exposed, cinematic strings slowly rise. Maybe forgiveness isn't forgetting, maybe it's accepting that you were human in a moment of hurt. Maybe growth means understanding that the version of you who sent that message was doing the best they could with the pain they carried. Maybe it's time to forgive them, and maybe it's time to forgive them all. 4 words I can't unsend, 4 words I can't unsend, yeah. Baby,
The message still exists.
somewhere in the past, but I don't live there anymore. You're online, the little green dot appears, and suddenly my heart forgets everything it learned. One tiny circle glowing green shouldn't have this much power over me, but here I am staring at a screen like it holds the answers I can't see. You're active, you're awake, you're somewhere in the world right now, living, breathing, laughing, maybe, and somehow that thought hurts more than silence, because silence leaves room for imagination. The hardest part isn't losing you, it's realizing life kept moving without asking me if I was ready. You're online, but you're not mine. That's the truth I keep avoiding. You're online, but you're not mine. No matter how much I replay it, I can see your name, I can see you're there, but I can't reach the version of us that used to care. But you're not good, but you're not good, and that's what keeps me awake tonight. Ooh, I wonder who you're talking to, then immediately hate myself for wondering, because none of it changes anything. Not the answer, not the question, not the ending. Yet my heart keeps searching for loopholes inside reality. Like maybe if I stare long enough, the past will come back online too. But all I find is another lesson waiting to be learned. Some connections in long before people disappear. You're not mine, and maybe that's okay. You're not mine, and maybe that's what healing sounds like. Not happiness, not closure, not complete indifference, just acceptance arriving slowly, like sunrise after a long night. So I spent so long confusing access with connection, thinking that seeing your name meant something still existed. But proximity isn't love, availability isn't belonging, and a green light isn't a doorway back, it's just a green light. First time, I don't break when I say it. You're online, but you're not hey, Cause my future was never supposed to depend on your your status, your attention, or your return. You're online, but I'm finally offline from the version of me that couldn't let go. The room changed, the furniture changed, the sheets changed, but somehow this bed still remembers you. There's an empty side beside me, and nobody ever feels quite right. Not because you're irreplaceable, but because memories are waiting. You're settled deep into the fabric of these nights. I still wake up sometimes, reaching toward a space that stopped belonging to us a long time ago. Funny how the body remembers what the mind is trying to forget. Every crease in these sheets feels like a timestamp from another life. Ooh, this bed knows your name, even when I don't say it. This bed knows your name, even when I try to escape it. The pillows hold all conversations, the blankets hide all dreams, and every night I spend alone feels haunted by what it used to be. This bed knows your name better than I wish it did. There was a time when sunrise felt different here. Coffee on the nightstand, lazy conversations, no rush to leave the morning behind. Now the silence arrives first, stretching across the mattress like an ocean between who I was and who I'm becoming. The loneliness isn't always loud, sometimes it's just a familiar absence, sitting quietly in the dark. Healing has strange ways of introducing itself. Sometimes it hurts first. This bed knows your name, and maybe that's okay, because forgetting was never the goal. Learning to live with it was. This bed knows your name, but it also knows my tears, my growth, my late night victories, and every battle I fought to stay standing. This bed knows your name, but it's starting to learn mine again. Disappear completely. Maybe some people leave fingerprints on our lives forever. up because they mattered, and maybe healing means making peace with that. Instead of fight it clear. This bed knows your name, but it no longer owns my night. This bed knows your name, yet I'm finally sleeping alright. The memories still visit sometimes, but they don't stay until morning. The pain still knocks occasionally, but it doesn't live here anymore. This bed knows your name, but tonight it belongs to me. I close my eyes, the room grows still, and for the first time in a long time, the silence feels like peace. You're online, the little green dot appears, and suddenly my heart forgets everything it learned. One tiny circle glowing green shouldn't have this much power over me, but here I am staring at a screen like it holds the answers I can't see. You're active, you're awake, you're somewhere in the world right now, living, breathing, laughing, maybe, and somehow that thought hurts more than silence, because silence leaves room for imagination. The hardest part isn't losing you, it's realizing life kept moving without asking me if I was ready. You're online, but you're not mine. That's the truth I keep avoiding. You're online, but you're not mine. No matter how much I replay it, I can see your name, I can see you're there, but I can't reach the version of us that used to care. But you're not but you're not, and that's what keeps me awake tonight. Ooh, I wonder who you're talking to, then immediately hate myself for wondering, because none of it changes anything. Not the answer, not the question, not the ending. Yet my heart keeps searching for loopholes inside reality. Like maybe if I stare long enough, the past will come back online too. But all I find is another lesson waiting to be learned. Some connections in long before people disappear. You're not mine, and maybe that's okay. You're not mine, and maybe that's what healing sounds like. Not happiness, not closure, not complete indifference, just acceptance arriving slowly, like sunrise after a long night. So I spent so long confusing access with connection, thinking that seeing your name meant something still existed. But proximity isn't love, availability isn't belonging, and a green light isn't a doorway back, it's just a green light. online, but you're not a hey. Cause my future was never supposed to depend on your status, your attention, or your return. You're online, but I'm finally offline from the version of me that couldn't let go. The room changed, the furniture changed, the sheets changed, but somehow this bed still remembers you. There's an empty side beside me, and nobody ever feels quite right. Not because you're irreplaceable, but because memories are waiting. You're settled deep into the fabric of these nights. I still wake up sometimes, reaching toward a space that stopped belonging to us a long time ago. Funny how the body remembers what the mind is trying to forget. Every crease in these sheets feels like a timestamp from another life. Ooh. This bed knows your name, even when I don't say it. This bed knows your name, even when I try to escape it. The pillows hold all conversations, the blankets hide all dreams, and every night I spend alone feels haunted by what it used to be. This bed knows your name better than I wish it did. There was a time when sunrise felt different here. Coffee on the nightstand, lazy conversations, no rush to leave the morning behind. Now the silence arrives first, stretching across the mattress like an ocean. Between who I was and who I'm becoming, the loneliness isn't always loud. Sometimes it's just a familiar absence, sitting quietly in the dark. Healing has strange ways of introducing itself. Sometimes it hurts first. This bed knows your name, and maybe that's okay, because forgetting was never the goal. Learning to live with it was. This bed knows your name, but it also knows my tears, my growth, my late night victories, and every battle I fought to stay standing. This bed knows your name, but it's starting to learn mine again. some people leave fingerprints on our lives forever. Not because we're meant to stay stuck, but because they mattered. And maybe healing means making peace with that instead of fight it clear. This bed knows your name, but it no longer owns my night. This bed knows your name, yet I'm finally sleeping alright. The memories still visit sometimes, but they don't stay until morning. The pain still knocks occasionally, but it doesn't live here anymore. This bed knows your name, but tonight it belongs to me. I close my eyes, the room grows still, and for the first time in a long time, the silence feels like peace. Funny, my phone and my heartbreak are running out at the same time. I've spent so many nights keeping the screen alive, refreshing old conversations, checking things that never change, holding on to digital evidence like proof could somehow heal me. But tonight the charger stays unplugged, and that feels symbolic somehow. The room is growing brighter, the questions are growing smaller, and for the first time I'm not chasing answers. Maybe not everything broken needs to be fixed. Maybe some things just need to end. Let the phone die, let the screen go dark, let the silence settle where the noise used to live. Let the phone die, let the night release me. I've been holding on too tightly to things already gone. Let the phone die, maybe that's how healing sounds. No more checking if you viewed it, no more wondering if you care, no more building entire futures from a single notification, no more giving tiny signals the power to ruin entire days, no more treating your absence like a puzzle to solve. The battery keeps dropping 2%, 1%, and somehow with every number, because sometimes letting go isn't dramatic. Sometimes it's simply choosing not to reach out. Let the phone die, let the memories rest, let the unanswered questions finally lose their voice. Let the phone die, let the heart grow quiet, let the heart grow quiet. I spent enough nights living inside yesterday, yesterday. Let the phone die, I'm ready for today. Yeah. Maybe closure isn't a message, maybe closure isn't a conversation, maybe closure is this: a battery fading, a screen going black, a chapter ending without needing applause, just peace.
Fully soaring harmonies, emotional climax. Let the phone die, let the old version of me die. To the one who waited, the one who chased, the one who confused pain for love. Let the phone die and let the morning find me standing in a light that finally belongs to me. No text, no calls, no what ifs, no ghosts. Just breathing, just healing, just moving forward. Let the phone die and let me live. Yeah. The hour when lies get tired, the hour when the truth stops hiding, the hour when it's just me and everything I've been avoiding. Here's my confession, I wasn't only missing you, I was missing certainty, missing having someone to call when life got heavy, missing the comfort of believing tomorrow made sense. I spent months calling it love when sometimes it was fear. Fear of starting over, fear of being alone, fear of finding out who I am without you. And maybe that's why the healing took so long, because I was grieving more than one thing. Falling out of me tonight. Confession, finally stepping into the light. I miss you sometimes, but not the way I used to. I think I miss who I was with you more than I miss you. Oh, more than I miss you. The truth sounds different now. Here's another confession. I blame myself for everything. For months, maybe longer, I replayed every argument, every mistake, every goodbye, trying to find the exact moment things became unfixable. But relationships rarely break in a single moment. They unravel slowly, like threads letting go one by one, and carrying all the blame never brought you back. It only delayed my healing. Confession, the weight is getting lighter now. Confession, I'm finally putting it down. You weren't perfect, neither was I. Maybe that's the most honest thing I've said all year. Freedom begins with truth. Freedom begins with truth. Freedom begins with truth. And here's the hardest confession, the one I've been running from. If you call me tomorrow, I don't think I want us back. Not because I hate you, not because I stopped caring, but because I finally met the person I'm becoming, and I don't wanna lose him. For anyone, 'cause sorry and confession, turning pain into perspective, turning pain into perspective, turning endings into lessons. I loved you, that's true. I lost you, that's feels beautiful.
I spent so much time saying I missed you. Then one night I realized something. Maybe I don't, because the person I keep crying over doesn't exist anymore. Maybe they never did. Maybe they only existed inside specific moments, specific memories, specific versions of us. I miss the way you laughed in the car with the windows down in July. I miss the way your eyes lit up when you talked about your dreams. I miss the way we looked at each other before disappointment learned our names. But memories are artists, they paint over the cracks and leave out the ending. It's the version of you I miss, not the stranger we became. It's the version of you I miss, frozen somewhere inside my brain. The one who held my hand, the one who stayed up talking till sunrise, the one who made forever sound believable before reality arrived. It's the version of you I miss, and maybe that's an important difference, because if you walk through that door tonight, would I even recognize you? Would you recognize me? We both lived entire lifetimes since those days, collecting new scars, new stories, new reasons for becoming different. Yet somehow my heart keeps revisiting an old photograph and calling it the present. The hardest truth about moving on is realizing the past isn't waiting for you. It's the version of you I miss, the one untouched by time, the one untouched by distance, the one untouched by goodbye. But people change and memories don't, that's why they fight each other inside my mind. It's the version of you I miss, not the reality, not the reality, not the reality. Say yeah.
Drums faded out, let it yellow, let's suppose. Emotional strings rise slowly, maybe love doesn't always end. Maybe sometimes it simply transforms into gratitude, into less intimate memories that no longer ask to be relived, only remembered. And maybe that's enough.
Standing somewhere today, because today's version of you belongs to your life, and today's version of me deserves mine. Memories can stay, the love can stay, the lessons can stay.
But the longing can finally leave.
It's the version of you I miss, and tonight The night is over, the phone is silent, the questions are quiet, and for the first time in a very long time, so am I. I spent months chasing echoes through empty rooms inside my mind, trying to rescue something that time had already left behind. I fought with memories, argued with reality, held on to old chapters long after the story ended. But somewhere between midnight and this morning light, something changed, not all at once, not dramatically, just enough. Everything got finally. The breathing got easier. Let go. Good night, night, finally. To all the roads that led nowhere. Oh, good night, finally. To every message I never sent, every question I never answered, every ending I couldn't accept. Good night, finally. The healing has begun. The sun slips through the curtains, painting gold across the floor. And somehow this room feels different, not because you came back, but because I came back to myself. The loneliness isn't gone completely. Maybe it never disappears that way, but it no longer feels like drowning. It feels like weather passing through. And maybe that's what peace is, not perfection, just a good night, night, finally. To every dream that kept me away. Good night, night, finally. To every memory that overstayed. Good night, finally. To all the versions of us that only exist in photographs. Now I love them, I honor them, but I release them. Good night, finally. I'm ready for the morning. If I could speak to the person who started this journey, the one staring at their phone at 2 in the morning, trying not to text you, I'd tell them this: you survive, you heal, you laugh again, you sleep again, you find yourself again. One day the silence stops hurting, starts feeling like freedom, and starts feeling like freedom. To all the nights I thought would never end, oh no, no. Good night, finally. To every ghost that followed me home. Good night, to the heartbreak, the regret, the longing, the fear. Good night, finally. Good night, finally. Good night, finally. You taught me everything, but you don't get to stay forever. Good night, finally. The sun is rising, and so am I. Our days trying to leave fade in a bright morning sounds. The phone rests quietly, the room fills with light. The story ends, not with a text, not with a call, not with a goodbye, but with peace. Good night.